Homesteads and Homeschools is part of the Liberty Hippie Podcast Network. If you like what we do, be sure to check out This Week in Liberpods, Peace Freaks, Cannabis Heals Me, and Free Market's Green Earth. We're living proof that libertarian doesn't mean washed up Republican.
What's up, people? Welcome back. Episode number 97 of Homesteads and Homeschools. If you're new, I'm your host, the Liberty Hippie, here with you today, coasting you into this wonderful little episode I have coming up. And if you're not new, welcome back. I'm sure you recognize my voice, my whistles. You knew that was me, right? Because who else would be here 97 episodes in? I should do that one day. I should have like a guest host just drop in and boom, hit you upside the head. But I probably won't. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying your December 1st. It's the first day of December. Believe it or not, it's the first day of really cold weather down here. It was like 80 on Thanksgiving. And as I record this, it's 40. It's going to get down to like in the 30s today. We'll have frost tomorrow. I know, it's crazy, right? Anyway, they're soft down here. They canceled the kids' soccer tonight because it was going to be too cold and windy, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but it is winter for most of us. That means our garden beds are resting. We put them to bed. We added some amendments. We turned it in and letting it all get ready for the springtime. And one of the things that you usually do, you feed the plants. You like I said, add amendments to the soil. And my guest today is going to just talk about that a little bit. He has created something called Fishnure, which is fertilizer that comes from aquaponics, basically. And I'll let him tell you all about it. But I think it's pretty cool, pretty unique, and in terms of the whole system, sort of agricultural products, regenerative type farming, homesteading. It's definitely something to look into. And who knows, if you have an aquaponic system at your place, you're probably already doing the same sort of thing, but maybe you'll plant some ideas or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get into it, guys, and I hope you all enjoy it. But let's go plant those seeds of liberty with my guest, Mr. Jim White. My guest today is Mr. Jim White, and he is on today. He does a little bit of growing some things, and interesting. We're gonna talk about fertilizer. We're gonna talk about feeding your plants and a little something called Fishnure, and we'll get into all of that and what it is. But Jim, thank you for coming on today and giving me your time this morning.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
So, kind of curious before I dig in with most folks, kind of figure out like where they're from and what they do and how they got there. Now you'd mentioned before that you do some farming, and it sounded like it was larger scale farming. Is that, am I right there?
It's large scale, commercial,
yeah.
Farming, yes.
Okay, and what are you growing?
Soybeans, wheat, rice, cotton.
Was that something you always do? How did you get into that field?
The land was it's been in the family for years. I farmed it myself for many years. I now lease the land out.
Okay, so you've been at it for a while. It was nothing new to you.
No, I understand both sides of it. It's conventional and organic.
Yeah, good deal. Okay. All right. And then so you got that going on. Do you do any like small scale stuff at your home?
No, I live in the city, so there's no opportunity for that, but I encourage it. In fact, many of my customers are home gardeners.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So speaking of your customers, who are your customers? What are they buying from you?
They're all over the United States. They're primarily small organic growers, home growers.
And what is it that you're selling? What are they getting from you?
Well, are you familiar with the concept of aquaponics?
Yeah, so we have sort of an idea of aquaponics there, and then so that's
Aquaponics is a good example of sustainable agriculture. It's in something you can really understand. You have fish growing. The fish produce manure. The manure fertilizes plants. The fish eat the plants, and so forth. So it's a continuous, sustainable process. And that's really what's going on in all agriculture today, except for the conventional farming is almost entirely chemical.
right.
So it's not sustainable.
Right. Yeah, I think that's. I think it can be one of the factors behind some people trying to grow a few more things on their own, kind of get out of that system, remove themselves. So the aquaponics, right? We're kind of familiar with that, and your plants are growing on top of that, and so when your product here, Fishnure, what exactly is that? What are you getting out of the aquaponics system?
Well, aquaponics is fine, but it's complicated. You have to grow fish, and there are many disadvantages to actually doing it aquaponically. The concept of Fishnure is to capture the manure, put it into a form that can be distributed and used without having to grow the fish. You get the same benefits, but you don't have to actually grow fish.
Right.
And so you create it in a form that can be shipped as a solid form and applied to your plants. Either it can be converted to liquid also easily, but you have the advantage of aquaponics, and in aquaponics, the fish manure produces all of the nutrients required. There are no need for any other nutrients in that environment, and that's the same with Fishnure.
Okay, so the aquaponics there is sort of like a closed loop, right? Everything is kind of contained, and the energy comes basically from the sun and gets cycled around, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I guess kind of what you've done here is taken some of the scraps of that, the fish manure, and taken that out of the cycle, right? So I think a lot of that's basically the nutrients for some of the plants, right? It acts like as a fertilizer for your plants growing in that aquaponic system, right?
Right.
Okay. So and you've been able to kind of harvest that, figured out how to harvest the manure there. How did you figure that out?
Do what?
How did you figure that out? What was the process?
I learned it from an Amish farmer.
Okay.
The one additional aspect of Fishnure is that we add a small amount of a special clay And in the composting process, when you compost the fish manure with a carbon substance and this clay, the carbon attaches to the clay particles, the microscopic particles, and it creates humus. And humus is what in the soil is what really provides you with the micro life that enables the plants to grow.
Right. That's all that topsoil. When they talk about the topsoil being, where all your microorganisms are and all that stuff, all the duff in the woods. That's
it's the microbes that do the work. I mean, it's
okay. So I'm really curious about this process. Kind of just, I don't know, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I think it's fascinating that you were able to do this. So did you have like your own aquaponic system at some point in time, or how did you?
Well, I grew catfish in a raceway, and I was able to capture the fish manure and convert it into a solid substance that I could compost. And I composted tons of it in Arkansas. And I don't have that process anymore, so I'm now doing it in Arizona. And the fish manure is sourced out of Utah from trout raceways. We still use the special clay that comes out of Arkansas, and that's shipped to Arizona. And all of it now is done, the composting, the distribution, the fulfillment, and so forth is done in Arizona.
Okay. So I'm trying to think about this. It's just, it blows my mind. So when you started composting the manure, did you have that idea in mind that like this might be something I could market at some point? Was it something you were just composting it because you wanted to use it on your plants, or like where did that go?
No, I realized that the importance of it and the value of it, and it immediately took off. I mean, it's been very successful over the last 7 years.
Okay. So what, we think about fertilizer. I go to the nursery and pick up a bag of my 10-10-10 or whatever may be the ratio. What's the difference? Like how is the Fishnure different than your stuff that you get in a bag?
Well, the NPK in fish manure, just like any composted material, is very low. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, something like that. But as far as producing yield, it can compete with 13-13-13. Or growing, let's say, a nitrogen, a high nitrogen requiring product like corn, it can grow that as well as a high nitrogen fertilizer. And that's been demonstrated. I mean,
do you know why that is? What is it that?
Yeah,
okay.
It's microbes.
So it's your microbes that do that. Is it even necessary to go that high with some of your fertilizers? If that's all you have access to, if that's all you're doing, do you really need something like a 13 or a 15 or whatever it may be?
Well, I've got organic growers that have switched from 13-13-13 to Fishnure because it yields more. And last year, a large pepper grower in Minnesota used Fishnure instead of a chemical product and produced 8%
That's
more
awesome.
yield.
That's awesome. It's so cool because I think like, when you think about all the fertilizers that you just dump on, and how they, what happens to it, right? It just kind of, some of it washes away, and
It's environmentally dangerous. And if it's not taken up by the plants, it washes into our rivers and ends up in the Gulf of Mexico and creates all kinds of problems.
And I think when you get like, and your system there, it seems more holistic, right? It has it kind of encompasses everything. It brings it back in, and instead of, just torching your soil, you're sounds like you're kind of building it up at the same time almost, introducing some of the microbes that might otherwise not be there. But so how big of an operation do you have then? I'm curious how much product you guys end up moving in a year or something.
Well, we just processed about 30 tons of it out in Arizona. And Fishnure, we just received a trademark registration, and we're setting up branding registration in Amazon. So that will increase our business quite a bit. And we've been fulfilling the orders ourselves from Amazon, and that will move to fulfillment by Amazon itself, and then we will move into other countries.
That's awesome. That's neat, man. So how what was the process like actually going from, just this thing that you recognize it works to, scaling it up to, something marketable to, large scale growers?
Well, we haven't really been pushing toward large scale growers. I mean, there are millions and millions of small scale growers, like yourself, but we've been marketing primarily to that group instead of. I mean, we can't compete with what's going on my other end of things, like conventional farming. But that's completely chemical. It's chemical warfare, really.
Yeah, it is. Have you talked to different like regenerative farms? And I know those are coming kind of, you see more of them popping up in places, and large 1,000 acre type deals. Have you bumped into those folks at all?
We haven't targeted that particular market. No.
Yeah. It seems like something kind of in that same vein, repairing some of the damage that farming has done over time. But all right. And so I guess when I get the Fishnure in the mail, how does it come? What is it? I know you said it's a solid, but it can be a liquid as well.
We sell it in two different forms. It comes in an 8-pound bag, and you can order, either 8 pounds, 16, or 32. And you can order a half-gallon liquid product. So it depends on how much you want to order. You can convert the solid into a liquid yourself. It's easy. Well, let's say that you want to apply it to a lawn. Fishnure is it's sort of a clay-like substance, so you can't put it in a spreader. So to apply it to a lawn, it's best to convert it to a liquid and spray it on using a hose-in sprayer.
Is it a topical? Then you just kind of spray it on. Do you need to till it into the dirt at all, or?
Yeah, It's good for topical feeding, and also you can use it in your watering. You can add it that way. When you water the plants, you can add some liquid Fishnure.
Okay, so it's something that you continue to feed the plants through their life cycle.
Now, Fishnure will last a long time. In the pepper growing process that I mentioned, they only applied one application of Fishnure when they potted it, or when they planted the plants out in the open.
Okay.
One time. Organically, they did it 2 times. So Fishnure provided everything that was needed and beat it by 8% with just one dose for the entire season.
Good deal. That's it's impressive. How big will I don't know, an 8-pound bag cover? Like, is that like should that do for somebody that's just kind of got a small medium garden space, or
Well, if you apply it to each plant, it depends on what you're growing and how you apply it. But 8 pounds, each plant would get 3 or 4 ounces.
Okay. All right. So that makes sense then. And then I guess it would be different depending on the type of plant and its feeding needs, its energy needs.
If you're making a potting mixture, for example, about 20% of it should be Fishnure. So it'd be a 4-to-1 ratio of potting mix to Fishnure.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That works there. All right. Very cool. And I don't know. Anything else you want to share about the Fishnure?
It's the way that nature intended to grow plants.
I like that. It's unique. I think kind of see some of. To see, I don't know. For me, I appreciate seeing a break from sort of the typical conventional farming stuff. And even if it's, just for people in their backyard, because I grew up, we didn't use a whole lot of fertilizer, but it was definitely something that, was part of the system. And it was just, a backyard garden. And so to see these other kind of product out there it's nice. I like that. I appreciate it. But all right. So where, if people are interested in purchasing some Fishnure or finding out more information about you and what it is, where can they go to do that?
You can go to our website, Fishnure.com. You can buy it there. You can go to Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon.
All right, I will throw those links in the show notes. I know you seem to have a.
If you go, I tell you, a good one to look at would be to go to YouTube and search on Fishnure, and you'll see a lot of different videos.
Okay, are those your videos? Are there like third-party videos of people with your product?
Some of them are ours. Some of them are third party.
Okay, cool. I will throw those in there, and encourage people to go check it out, because it's definitely I don't know, it's one of those things that just really I appreciate it. I know you have a presence on Twitter as well. I mean, put some that's how
right.
I found you guys there. Saw that. I was like, all right, but good deal. And you guys been around for 7 years. You said. What do you any plans for the future? What that looks like or entails, or what you hope to do with it?
Well, we're adding a new product. It's a potting soil mix that will compete with Miracle Grow.
Okay.
And it has enough Fishnure in it to provide nutrients for 6 months.
All right. Very cool. That's that. And then, when do you think that would be out? Do you know?
It's having trouble getting the bags designed right now, but it'll probably be 3 months before we can get that going.
Awesome. That sounds. Yeah, I like that because again, that's one of those things, right? I'm always putting plants in the garden, putting pots in the garden, and add some soil at the same time it would be helpful. But all right, I guess that's all. I appreciate your time, and I wish you luck with everything going forward.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed talking with you.
All right, thanks. I know. It was over too soon. I apologize for that, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll have a cracker or two coming out later this month that will be sure to make up for the lack of duration in this little interview, but you're just gonna have to hang on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you find that informative. It's I'm definitely looking forward to the potting soil coming out. For most of my life, I just kind of dug soil out of the garden and put it into pots and planted stuff in there. But as you guys know, if you've listened to this show before, my soil is garbage, and I end up buying potting soil to plant my seedlings in. And then when they get out there, it's kind of, meh. So I'm really working on amending the soil, thinking about doing new ways of planting, but definitely looking forward to some Fishnure infused soil. So should be cool. What else do I have for you today? Like I said at the top of the show, this is episode 97. And what I failed to tell you at the top of the show, that you can find the show notes, homesteadsandhomeschools.com/097. And go there, find the links to the website, find links to the music. All the music that I have played here is put into one fancy little playlist, and I'll be doggone, it's snazzy. I love it. Of course, I picked it out, so, I would love it, right? What else? Head over to Keybase, find the group, because it's growing a little bit, and it's a good group, and it's an informative group, and it's awesome. Go join it. Find it. There's a link in the show notes. Go there. Go leave a review on iTunes. Share the word, That's how people find these things, I guess. If you've ever listened to any podcast, you've heard it before. People say, oh, go leave a review. Algorithms. Well, they're not lying. The algorithms help and get the show in other people's ear holes. So share some of the love, because it's just greedy to keep it all to yourself. Anyway, guys, that will do it for me. Come back next week, and I'll have something for you. Not entirely sure what yet, but I'll have something. Stay warm. Stay warm, because it's getting chilly. Anyway, guys, that is all for today. Remember, get out there. Sow those seeds of liberty. We can all reap sheaves of freedom together.